finishes up there in top 10. So that's 3 OCE controller players of the 5 that are here.
That's huge.
That is ridiculous. All in top 10 and Trapped being number 1 of those lists. So that's pretty ridiculous that goes in this game. And we're seeing Trapped there in the bottom right as I was saying that. And we have eyes on Symmetrical in the top right. Thank you from the production team. We've already got eyes on 1 and 2. Great way to start off, and we can see how Symmetrical found himself in the victory with a lot of a safer drop. We see Trapped not so much the same situation. We can see in the bottom right of the minimap, Trapped is dropped with 4 other people in very close proximity. Now we're going over to Retail Row. This is one of the most contested drops so far, and one of the ones I wanted to look at because unless I can't see it there, it should have Repulse God and Benji Fishy dropping there, 2 of the most mechanically ridiculous players here today.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to see if they engage in any kind of early skirmishes here. We're taking a look at Zexro. Already looks as though he's got a little bit of health missing, as is his opponent. We have some early engagements, and King throwing down some grenades. Isn't quite sure where Zexro is, expending those early resources to make sure that he's frightening his opponent. It's about getting inside their head, Ozzy.
Yeah, but now he knows he doesn't have him. We'd like to hold on until he figured out where he was. Zexro now just taking the high ground for him. I think H-King is playing this a little bit scared. No, as I say that, Zexro falls down the mountain, so I think maybe he's disengaging there. I can't see a player of Zexro's caliber not deliberately doing that. He's going to rotate down, go into this little military base, get some extra loot. He has a shotgun, so he can't see H-King's loadout, but H-King only rocking the double SMG. Zexro could have taken that fight. He's a very smart player, a lot of land experience. I don't think he wants to bring it down to a 50-50, not knowing what he has. And Volks goes down in Sweaty, one of the greatest OCE players here, super aggressive, and it doesn't go for him this time, going down to Aimbot, who we saw at the end game last game. So Volks not leaving spawn in game 2. I believe unless he got elimination, he should still be on 4 points. He won't be happy with that.
Definitely unfortunate for Volks, but lucky for him, we do have 4 more games after this one. So he's got tons of time to regroup, really think about changing up his strategy and possibly doing well in a later game. Aimbot still here at Sweaty Sands. There is another player here as well. It is Alice, but it looks as though Aimbot's going to be heading east for greener pastures. Got his big shield, got his minis. He's saying, you know what? I'm going to go farm in other pastures right now.
We have Colt taking a fight here against, I'm not quite sure who the name is right now. I can't see it properly. We have Colt trying to take this fight out there, but I know Sweaty, there was 2 Asian players involved. He's going to the region, the edit comes out from Colt, getting some serious damage. Colt trying to find his way into this one, has the green tack, and he had no range weapon though. Luckily, he found himself in a close range engagement. All he had there was the shotgun and the harpoon, but it's all he needed.
Yeah, that harpoon is so strong with its ability to take the wooden walls. You can see Moose here, unfortunately, very, very low against Ghost. Trapped. He's going to be pushing up. Moose is going to be taken out. Unfortunately for him, Ghost Trapped gets the better of him, and that is an elimination for Trapped right away at the beginning of match 2.
Yeah, Trapped is extending his lead now up to 16. If Symmetrical hasn't found an early game elimination, he's still going to definitely be in the lead with that one. And now he's cleared out the people around him. Jinx here on low ground, went down on Storm. He's going up against Sozman here, a fellow OCE player. Soz going down. One of our World Cup solo qualifiers struggling to get a foot into the tournament. Jinx finding his footing now with his first elimination in game 2, but he's not out of the hot water yet. I can see on that minimap he has someone pushing straight towards him on the bridge. Heard that fight and maybe wants to come in and third party it, but Jinx is pretty healthy after that fight. He could take another one, but he's probably going to hopefully avoid it if he can.
Yeah, and you can see him running down the river there, going to try to farm up as much as he can. We have Desire and Alec here now taking shots at each other. There's so many early game engagements. I'm not surprised with the OCE region being as aggressive as it is. So we have these players here definitely putting on a bit of a show for our crowd today. You can hear them in the background. They are absolutely loving this aggression early game.
Yeah, he has got a very good loadout here. Alec taking this fight, but definitely not a stupid fight to take with the loadout he has. He has the floppers, has the minis. Some of these solo games we touched on earlier might go into Storm Surge, getting some early damage, but I talk about loadouts. Desire doesn't have the health and shield. With that epic pump in his inventory, he can actually one-shot Alec here, even on 100 health and 100 shield. So that advantage can go away very, very quickly. Desire trying to replace the walls. If he can take the walls here, if he takes this roof, which he does, and the pump shot comes out, but he can't get the 200 shot I was talking about. Alec rotates around 75. So far, Desire is actually winning this fight. He's taken more damage off Alec, and he's brought them on even footing as Saf comes up to try and third party it. This is the problem when you take fights like this in these areas. You can get third partied very easily. Saf, a smart player. I don't think he wants to fully commit to the fight, but he's happy to stay away and see if 1 or 2 tags is enough to get him the elimination.
Yeah, Saf just kind of staying on low ground, seeing if he hears any more shots ring out. Is he going to? He is. Desire takes more shots onto Alec, and you can see Saf just making a very good rotation, getting behind that house. So we have a three-way fight going on here. Saf trying to engage, possibly not. It looks like he's trying to disengage,
Yeah, I
says
think they're
it's
getting
not
out of
working.
there. That's a smart play by Desire. We'd like to see Desire take less shots now, though, as well. He's trying to scare them away, obviously, but now that he's got saved a little bit there. If Saf didn't show up, I think Alec would have kept pushing until that fight ended with one of them going down. Now they get to walk away, but look at Desire's loadout. And Alec as well, I said taking that fight wasn't too bad with the extra shield and health he has, but going into endgame, the more meds you have, the better. So we'll see. Maybe Desire can do something with a sniper rifle. On Sorif, though, gets a body shot. He's got the burst rifle. He could follow up with that. Sorif has now got no shield as well. We haven't got sights on his inventory. It looks like he's standing still, so I'm guessing he's going to use some shield. He does. He's back up to 150, and Desire's still on the back foot now.
Yeah, and here we are over at Frenzy Farm. We have Mouth in here coming out of the Asian region. We have Airwalks. We've got a whole bunch of players. Zate is over there as well. We're back over to Desire near Salty Springs, which I just want to point out is right on the edge of the zone. The circle is closing in. There are going to be a lot of players from the West pushing into these players. So whatever they're trying to do in terms of engagements, they're going to have to commit. They're going to have to do it quickly.
Yeah, they have to end them fast. Exactly. Perfect analysis there. And Salty Springs, when he took that fight, Alec went a little bit high, made it go for a little bit long, and then Saf rolled up. In these kind of zones with this many players alive, 76 players alive with first zone coming in now. Yeah, you've got to end these fights quickly. We see Jesse taking down Forbes in the feed. And we have Geese and Dylan here fighting it over the military base. Now, you were talking there about some of the regions as well. We definitely have some storylines coming out to today. I think it's fair to say that NA came out on top at World Cup, having first, second, and third. EU came out in the team game modes. Who do you reckon is going to come out today? OCE has the numbers advantage, and first game, it looks like they're up there. But, I mean, some of these international players, we definitely brought the best of the best.
They definitely have the numbers advantage, and I have to be very honest with you. I was kind of rooting for the likes of Jordan and Cease, Epic Whale, and Som. Again, very good performances at World Cup in July. But based on that first game, you know, I'm eating my words right now. Again, this is only game 2 of 6 for today. So if there's anything that I've learned over the last year and a half of casting these games, watching these guys play, is that anything can happen. We really cannot be making all of these predictions based on what we've seen in Cash Cups, Fortnite competitive series. It's just not going to work here.
Yeah, no. Do you think if there's any one thing to go off, maybe, is there like maybe team game modes, World Cup, is there one thing you think go off, or you just think it's really completely hard to tell with no evidence of Chapter 2 stacked games?
It's just so difficult. And again, not seeing a lot of these OCE players.
Yeah, definitely.
They're wild cards.
Yeah, they are. They're all wild cards, honestly. And like I said, they're in the top 10 as well. 3 of them being controller players who have 0 LAN experience. None of those players that I mentioned have been to a LAN before. Trapped, currently the leader, has no LAN experience. And a lot of players talk about which input has more advantage on LAN. I mean, if you got a controller, you plug it in, you sit down, you're comfortable, right? If you bring a keyboard and mouse, the desk might be smaller. If you're someone who plays on a low sensitivity, you need more room to move your mouse for some of these like more advanced maneuvers. I think controller has the advantage on LAN, and so far we're seeing that actually come out on top right now.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that again with 3 of the top 10 players being on controller. That really hasn't been a thing too much in a lot of these LAN environments. So I think a lot of the players are now realizing the advantage of being on controller at these LAN settings. Like you said, it's not a matter of anything. You plug and play.
Yeah, you plug and play. You sit down. Exactly. You're comfortable as well. Seeing Lapex rotate here on the right side. He's got really nice loadout, really good builds. I want to see where he's coming from. We have Posk trying to take a fight here. Looks like Sinks there. One of the OCE favorites. I love these split angles as well, though. We can see the lobby right now more spread than what I would like. A lot of these players need to start making their way in, especially some of those people as far as Lazy Lake or Retail. There's not a lot of players in between them. Desire lining up the shot on Alice. Desire is still trying to find his way back in this game. If he can get in here and even just get those minis and get out, that is such a big pickup for him. No, that is it. He's going to get the minis. Doesn't go for the minis, though. He wants the fight before he uses the minis. No, Desire has been playing so aggressive since that Salty Springs fight, doing what he can to get back into it. If Alice gets off this big shield, though, he has such a health advantage. But honestly, Desire needs to take a fight soon. We talk about trying to play passive, getting towards those placement points, but there's no point playing passively if you're going into the end game with no loot. If you can try and get an impact frag now, get some mats, get some of those meds, it's a lot better of a time. But look at that, he picked up the minis. He's back to first time we've seen him with shield in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, so he must be feeling much more comfortable than he has been for the first half of this game, but he isn't out of the woods yet. You can see Alice there. He's 345 damage above the threshold, so he doesn't even actually have to worry right now about tagging any shots. He could disengage from this if he wanted to.
If he wants to. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people, we talked about Storm Surge earlier. It's more of a, it's a bit of a So it's one of the more confusing parts about Fortnite. If you're just tuning in from home, you don't watch too much competitive. If you have a certain amount of players alive going into a zone, there's different thresholds. Whoever has done the least amount of damage in the lobby will take 10 damage per second for 5 seconds or until they do more damage. So without going too much into it, it's basically so these lobbies that are incredibly full of players like right now, 70 players alive, it puts more pressure on them to do some damage and fight. You can't just get in. Wait, seeing Trapped go down in the feed to Ashes. Ashes, one of those other controller players in the top 10, just took down Trapped. OCE on OCE. The leader right now is out of here. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to his lead into the next game then.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, it is going to be difficult to come back. But here we have Posk.
Yeah, Posk, yep, we got Posk here, trying to take this fight on low ground. Sinks above him, one of the OCE pros. He's got no shield and no meds though, unfortunately. Only with a blue tack and Storm's on him. He needs to take a fight now. He can't get out of this without taking this fight. 28 health, he's taking 1 damage per second, trying to find his way into Posk. Looking a little bit dazed and confused right now. Doesn't know where he is, and with 20 seconds to go until he's going to go down, he needs to find him fast.
Time is ticking, and so is his health. He's not going to be able to make it into the next zone, like you said. He isn't, unfortunately, going to get the first shot off on his opponent. Posk ends up taking out Sync. Looks easy for him right there.
Yeah, Sync went down there, unfortunately. A bit of misposition there. We see Desire on the feed. Going to maybe hold someone fresh. One of the winner of yesterday. Crowd favors. You can hear them cheering right now on 13 health. Not in a good way, though, but he can win this one. No, he's got no materials at all. Going up against Squeaks, a fellow OCE player. A beautiful pre-fire there. Got the shot in right before Squeaks took in the right-hand peek. He had him so low. He had him on 30 health, and Squeaks with the disrespect on Mr. Fresh Asian. And he's getting booed from the crowd. They did not like that one. It is a competitive game mode, guys. You've got to get excited when you get your eliminations. You've got to get yourself excited. Posk and Desire, again, Posk gets out of the frying pan into the fire. Desire has taken a fight with, I'm pretty sure, everyone we have watched so far this game.
Yeah, he's definitely asserting dominance here at the solo tournament today. It is, again, a more aggressive playstyle in this region than what we've seen in others, but he is out of mats as well. 500 each is going to be gone very quickly.
Desire goes down. He got third punch from Worthy. Worthy taking him out, pushing forward. This is one of the wild cards coming into today. If you don't follow the OCE region, Worthy's normally a player who plays on about 60 to 70 ping. Very big disadvantage. He comes from Western Australia, the servers being on the other coast. And let's see if today, on the same settings as everyone else, can he dominate? He's definitely one that I want to look out for. And based on that loadout, if he doesn't go wrong here, he's going to close out this game. 2 floppers, an epic pump, a burst rifle, and an SMG. This is pretty much my favorite loadout. The 6 nades as well. See if they come into play here on the edge of zone. You talked earlier about needing to close this fight out. He has to close it out fast, though. 25 seconds till that zone comes in, and we can't even see on the minimap how far away it is.
Yeah, if he's on the fast side of this circle, making the rotations and using those floppers sooner than what he needs to is going to be detrimental. But you can see him actually disengaging, making the smart play, saying, you know what, this was taking way too long. I'm going to start rotating. You can stay there and take as much storm damage as you'd like.
Definitely, we can see a lot of players here right now. On my screen is the scope of today's tournament, how big these players are. I see Hype, Cat, and Nyrox, all players who went to World Cup on the same screen in OCE. This is ridiculous. Bowler trying to take some shots out here. I mentioned the controller players today. Bowler was part of an FNCS squad where there was 3 controllers, players, 1 keyboard and mouse. They are all here today. I think they want to assert their dominance. Esh is in the distance. We have Tina and H King still alive. And look at this circle right now. We have definitely found the congested side of zone here. There is a lot of people on this southwest edge.
We saw the exact same thing happen in the last match. Pretty much everybody was concentrated on the western side of the zone. It made for some very interesting and very exciting rotations going into the finals. But we have Tina Reyes here building up. She's trying to get the med kit off. She is going to opt to take some storm damage, but is taking shots as well. She's going to have to think very quickly. Doesn't have too many builds left. She's going through them very, very quickly. Only has 6 builds left, but she is going to be able to get that med kit off. It is going to be ticking by 2, but she's got 2 more, so she's going to be able to heal up and hopefully have a bit of an advantage over King.
Yeah, H King here, the Chinese player I said to look out for. I watched him in the qualifiers. Very smart player, finding himself in not too smart of a position right now. Maybe not something he had control over. Needs to take this fight quickly, though. He has no advantage right now. He's looking through this cone, so from what it looks like at home, you can't see it. On his screen, he's actually editing that cone and looking through it to get some information on the players around him. He needs that elimination fast, though. Tina played that really well. Got the high ground, got the med kit off, but they are so far from Storm. It's going to be one of those win win the battle, lose the war situations. I can't see either of these players making next storm. H-King very smartly dropping down into the water. He might not even make it in now though. Worthy using those grenades though. We're going to leave eyes on that fight, and we see it. Tina taking down H-King in the feed. Didn't see how that fight ended, but we now know what happened. Worthy now trying to find his way in. He's just on the edge of zone. He's not in yet. He's found himself on that very congested edge. I'm liking looks of those players on that far north side who are finding themselves way less congested. I cannot believe this southwest edge right now. It is going to be absolute mayhem here in about a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be unreal. I'm not sure if Tina actually ended up making it into the zone either. She still had those other med kits, so we're going to have to see if she is still alive. But here we have Jessie just getting absolutely beamed by Worthy, and you can see on the right-hand side of your screen the top damage dealers, one of them being Worthy, who we're looking at right now, and he is relentless today, Ozzy.
Yeah, and we have eyes on Symmetrical as well, who I imagine if he plays well today will have to jump up into the lead with Trapped already going down a little bit earlier. Worthy trying to rotate in some beautiful tunnels. Like I said, playing on the low ping, he might be feeling it today. Everything will feel so much faster and smoother, but again, it might feel faster and smoother, but it might feel different. Any difference coming into land, you don't know how it's going to affect things. We have Posk here hiding in the bush, Nyrox taking some shots from behind. Our World Cup winner of duos. Jinx there finding a lot better purchase. This game went down very early last game. Let's see if he can get back into it. We also have Repulse got in there. Twiz, World Cup duo player with Cover H, who we did see go down earlier, unfortunately. Sorry for there as well. Brezzo back onto one of those controller players that I said earlier was in top 10 on 8 points right now.
Yeah, and he's looking pretty healthy. He doesn't have a lot in terms of AR ammo in his inventory, but he is sitting pretty there with a ton of materials, so he is good to go. We see Benji Fishy here, another fan favorite. He is still alive. He is still in this. We've got Radius here boxing up, trying to edit out, make some shots. He's gonna have to work quickly because he is 26 below the damage threshold for Storm Surge, so he just needs to get a couple of shots off, kind of play it a little bit methodically, or else he's going to start taking some damage, and there's no way for him to heal up.
Yeah, exactly. Very good point there. So he's got the big pop, but you don't want to have to waste that into Storm Surge here, so he needs to get some damage out. But we saw Benji Fishy there underneath 3 OCE players all above him right now. Some player we didn't see, which I've obviously picked as one of the favorites to win today. I think it's most people's favorite. He's taking shots on Radius, proving why he's the favorite. We see Radius needs to do some damage, but Benji Fishy is the one playing aggressively, takes all the shield off Radius. He's almost got him. Spry's going for edits now. This is the problem. There's so many players so close. Benji Fishy needs to close this out, but he's playing it so smart to stay on ultimate low ground. A lot of people often going for high ground. The higher you are in lobbies like this, the more people can see you. Where you see it is right now, if he takes a fight, everyone in the lobby can see him. Where Benji Fishy is, he's on the ultimate low ground, doesn't have that positional advantage, but he's going to get third partied way less. Knocks Radius down onto his level, going to try and find his way in if he can. Radius cannot find purchase, and Storm Surge looks like it's in effect right now. I saw it is Storm Surge is now active. Radius is going to take 10 damage per second for the next 5 seconds, and as soon as you see someone getting hit with that purple lightning bolt animation, you push them aggressively. You know that they're getting taken out by Storm or by you, one of the two, and now he's above though. He did enough damage to get above the threshold.
Yeah, and you can see here Radius just using the natural cover to try to rotate because he doesn't have a ton of builds left, 47 left to his name. This is going to come down to the wire for a lot of these guys. The 1500 mat cap gets expended so quickly in these final zones.
Yeah, definitely. That's why with the no rotation in the solos, you only have 1500 mats. You've got to be really smart. You can choose to rotate late, and you can use other people's build to push them in, but that means someone might get ahead of you. They're already in zone. They can look back, and they're definitely going to hold you out of that zone. So we'll see. We have our half-half coming out here. On that north side, I talked about how congested the southwest side was earlier, and they don't get zoned. So now all those players in the southwest have to rotate to this northern zone, and Squeaks gets to do his best to hold them out. Squeaks taking some shots on fellow OC player Gubos. He's trying to get the nades out there as well. Let's see if he can. Posk using those trees for cover, which is a beautiful choice of movement. He doesn't even pay attention above him, focusing too hard on the players outside of zone. Didn't know there was someone else in zone above him, and it's Zayt trying to find his purchase on this game. One of the international favorites who didn't have a great first game. I believe he went into this one on 0 points. Let's see if he can come back. Those 6 rounds is plenty of time to do it. Symmetrical, the winner from last game, hasn't picked up any eliminations yet, but he's getting closer and closer to those crucial placement points. We have some materials placed. Symmetrical has been building a fortress here. 6,424 materials placed so far. We're seeing a lot of the names we expect up there as well. Symmetrical keeping himself nice and safe. And again, this south side is so congested, and the zone pulls northwest again. So every single time everyone gets pushed into the zone, it has gone as far away as it possibly can. Symmetrical having to run. He's got 31 builds, but he wants to save as many as he can.
And if you notice on the right-hand side there was a little bit of information. Symmetrical also has the most build damage as well. So he's putting in an absolute clinic, but he does get taken down to only 10 health. He is going to have the flopper. It's going to bring him up to 60, but he is going to have to think quickly here. Now, does he box up and try to play passively, or does he go for an elimination and hopefully get that 50 health and shield?
He needs an elimination here. He's only got 5 builds left. He's below Storm Surge as well. No, he's above. Sorry, it just ticked back over. So he's above Storm Surge, but only by 29. With 6 builds having to rotate from zone, we can see this beautiful bird's eye view here of all these players scrambling to get to that zone. We see Benji Fishy go down, unfortunately, on the feed. Jinx on the backside as well. All these players on the backside looking a little bit bad. Zate's on the high ground, just tarping in though. Zate using that high ground. No one can see him. He's got full control right now. He's going to focus on this player on second height. Brezo there is on second height. He wants to make sure he can hold that, put some suppression down. Doesn't have the rockets to drop, but he can do enough with that AR. He's only got 73 bullets though, and he keeps firing, gets knocked down. He's going to build back up and try and hold it. I don't know about this one. He's contesting height with only 12 builds. Brezo chooses to go back down there. He knows he'll have the advantage, and that's what costs him. He gets beamed in the back.
Unbelievable. He did make that split-second decision to go for high ground, but it did not pay off very well for him. Now we're down to 17 players. We have Zate here back on high ground. All of these players are going to be getting placement points at this point. Looter is unfortunately going to be taking some damage. Zate is controlling this high ground.
He is, and he's like I say, he's focusing second height. Every time someone tries to go for it, to put any pressure on him, he takes them down. He only has 23 builds, though, needs to be careful. He's going to have to push down on one of these eliminations and get some mats, or he's going to have to give up high ground. Epic Whale back there, one of our favorites from today with Zate. We're seeing a pretty clean split. No, we have 3 NA players, 2 NA players, 2 OC, 2 NA, 1 Europe, 2 OC. They're trying to close this one out. Zate's on the high ground, Epic Whale down there as well. Nyrock's going down. Let's see how this one closes out. EU is out of this match. It's 2 NA versus 3 OCE. Looter's down there. Zate's trying to find his way in. He's run out of mats though. He's running really low. 4. The fall damage. He can't catch himself. Epic Whale, Christ still is on. Christ on 12 points now, trying to find the shots on Looter. He can't finish it off. He misses the shot point blank. Right now we have Looter pushing forward. He's trying to take him down. He's trying to find him if he can. He can't see him. Slayer's out in Storm. I think he must have meds. Looter needs to find a shot on this one. I don't know if Slayer has floppers. He can't see him. There he is rotating in. You have to think Looter closes it out. He closed out game 1 yesterday in the Trio Pro-Am, and he closes out game 2 in the solos, finishing on what looks like 19 points with 3 eliminations that game.